Well, what's up, everybody? It's Meadow Baggins here. So pretty much the Tennessee trip that I did actually was pretty good, except I had to cut it short, so I did not get much footage. So pretty much with the Tracer, my brother and I, we were driving up some gravel road in Tennessee, and there was a good switchback pretty much, and the one side of the road is all washed out. It's kind of like a turn that you had to do a 3-point turn just to make it up, and we were kind of talking once we got that point. Maybe we should probably turn around, and that's when I went down. So pretty much like on my right side, when I went to put my right foot down, the road was washed out, so I really had nowhere to put my feet. I'm not that tall of a guy, so in short, I had nothing to put underneath me, at least my foot, to kind of keep it up. And the bike got to a point of where it was past the point of keeping it upright, so I was able to kind of set it down and, you know, touch the ground. That was that. So in Tennessee, it's like a heat wave, like probably always is this time of year, but it's a very hot day. Some gravel road in Tennessee, and we were going up to the Devil's Triangle, and I literally made every single wrong choice that day. The night before, we changed the road to get to the Devil's Triangle, which we probably shouldn't have done that because the original road was actually paved and didn't have any time to get there, but we decided to change it because one look at maps and it looked really windy. Like, yeah, that's fun, let's try that. So we decided to do that. And so then, you know, bike tips over, you know, I got a scratch on the one side, not too bad. Lens of a turn signal pops off, that's pretty much it. Nothing major. A little bummed, you know, pick the bike up, drink some water, kind of regroup. I'm like, all right, we'll do the tilt sensor reset, all that stuff, which, at least for the Tracer, you turn the ignition from off to on like 3 or 4 times, you know, all that good stuff, and it should reset. So that's what we did. Like, all right, that sucks. Drop the bike. No biggie. Could be worse. Let's go. Go to hit start. Nothing. Doesn't even try, or if it does, it's intermittent. You know, we're sitting there and like, well, that's kind of odd. So then we take the seat off and got the Leatherman, and we start pulling fuses and checking out the fuses. All of them look fine. All the relays are good, you know. Nothing, you know, that's sticking out. So check all the fuses under the seat. Even check the fuses further up on the right side here, which all the ones for like the fuel pumps and the ignition and all that, it's under the seat. So, you know, kind of figured it would have been, that would have been an issue. But no, it was all good. Disconnect the battery. You're like, well, maybe, you know, through a code or something. Maybe it's just, you know, being finicky. So we pull the code and all that. Or the battery terminal, same thing, nothing. Well, then we're like, well, we tried starting it for like 20 minutes. Maybe the battery's dead, you know, or maybe it's low on juice because, you know, you're trying to start something for a while and it doesn't. You know, that weakens the battery. I'm getting gas here, I'm topping off. So I had none of the stuff I needed. We're in the heat, sweating. So my brother, since we're down one bike, he runs on his bike back to the hotel, which is like 40 minutes away because we're 20 minutes away from where we wanted to go. And And he gets the battery pack, drives to 40 minutes back, right? Hook up the battery pack, donezo. Same thing, wasn't starting. So then I'd have like a flicker of 1 to 2 bars of cell service. So try to call, I'm like, all right, well, try to call insurance, maybe get a tow. And I think it was like on a Sunday when this happened, of course, too. So it's a Sunday, right? Tennessee. No dealerships are open. Sorry. Trying to focus. So no dealerships are open, right? Cell service, try to call insurance, can't. Cell service ain't good enough. And we're in Tennessee from Pennsylvania. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to wait how many hours for a tow truck in the middle of Tennessee on a gravel road in the middle of nowhere, right? And so I don't want to do that. So called my wife. I was like, hey, I do not have the cell service to make these calls either to insurance or to U-Haul. So she's in Pennsylvania back home. I'm like, bike's not starting, having bike issues. Called a buddy of mine that's a motorcycle mechanic, stuff like that. And he's like, you guys done literally everything that I would have done. Like, it has to be something else. And all that. Oh, so that sucked. Sweating to death, dying. So, in short, made the executive decision, gonna get a U-Haul. Alright. I wanted to get like a, a pickup truck, and then rent a bike trailer. Because I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll call insurance. There was a couple Yamaha dealers. I can get it towed to one of them, but it was Sunday and none of them were open till Tuesday. And we had to hit the road on Wednesday to go back home. So that kind of dictated my decision there, because I'm like, even if I do get a tow truck and take it to a Yamaha dealer, they're not going to be open till Tuesday. And then say they get there Tuesday. It's probably going to be a day till they look at it. And once they look at it, they're going to have to troubleshoot for it. Once they troubleshoot for it, then I'm probably going to have to order parts. And those parts probably not going to be in stock, so it's going to be at least a few days to a week or whatever to get them in. So in short, 10-foot box truck, trailer. All the tracer from Tennessee to Roanoke, Virginia, where my wife graciously met us with our truck, and so we dropped the box truck off, but we kept the trailer, hooked up the trailer to the truck, drove it back to Pennsylvania. Great. So I had a lot more footage that I wanted to record, but since that drop and the bike not starting, that didn't happen. So I got it home. Some Reddit, some forums, they're like, well, the starter relay or the starter solenoid for the tracers go bad. It's a 2019. I'm like, all right, probably the starter solenoid. I'll replace that. Like OEM one's like 40, 50 bucks. You know what? I'm just going to change the tilt sensor too. Not that I expect that it's bad, but it's like 10 bucks, It's something that's like inexpensive. Might as well, whatever, we'll do that. So I get it. I got the new tilt sensor, new starter solenoid. Mind you, I didn't have a multimeter or all that. I'm not, didn't really troubleshoot. I was just doing process of elimination. Put that stuff on. No dice. I was reading some more, and they were saying, well, the starter switch, that's stuck open or something's wrong with that. So I look at it, see like 2 screws. I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty easy to take apart. Let's take it apart and see what's up. So I take it apart, and a bit of plastic falls out of the starter, or this starter switch or whatever, this housing. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. And I also noticed my starter button was very loose and wobbly. So Babbitts.com's like one of the largest like Yamaha part places. Order the starter relay off of them, you know, like probably a week after I got back from the trip. Process of elimination, you know, waited for that stuff to get delivered, the starter solenoid and the tilt sensor. That didn't work. Same exact symptoms, nothing changed. Took apart this, piece of plastic fell out. I'm like, well, there shouldn't be plastic in it. Like, what are the odds? Like, that's it. So, like, a week and a half later, this thing ships, and then another 3 to 4 days to get to my door. So about 2.5 weeks till I get this. It gets delivered, right? And I'm sitting there, and I call up a local dealership, which they were great. I said, hey, you know, I did starter solenoid, this and that. These are my symptoms. I let the bike down on the right side. I checked all the fuses, all that. Battery, you know, it's clicking, doesn't want to start, or if it does start, it's intermittently, or once I can get it to run, I have to have the throttle, like, still have the start button pressed, like it's not wanting to run. And the dealership was like, well, it sounds like you got a dead battery. And I was like, I do not have a dead battery. I was like, one, this battery's good, it's tested good, and my brother has a Tracer. We took that battery, which is the same like amperage, all, you know, same battery, and put it in my bike, because like, well, maybe, you know, maybe it is a bad battery, right? Might test good, but, you know, battery tender says it's good, it might be a lie. Put in a new battery, same exact things. So back to when this gets delivered. It gets delivered, I already called them up. I think around here it's like, I think it's like $200 for them just to plug it in and scan it. Scan the bike, right? That's just, no matter if anything's wrong with it or not, $200. And I'd have to get a trailer. And I have to haul it over there, which is about 40 minutes away, to get it looked at. So I set up the appointment. And this hand switch gets delivered, and it was like $120 for the whole pit, like the whole kit. Like, this whole thing is like one piece in there. It's all soldered together, you know. And then it has 3 plugs that run down the forks into the side panel here, which I can probably throw a photo of. So I had to take the cowling apart on the right side, do all that. I was like, well, if it's $120, you know, say another $50, $70 for the other stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm at like $180, $200. I'm like, all right, well, it's worth a shot. Like, if this don't work, then I can at least tell them what I've replaced, which will help troubleshoot. And then it's still around that threshold of $200 just for them to scan it. And it wasn't throwing any codes or anything like that. So really, honestly, I'd probably spend $200 for them to scan it, and no code would get thrown. So they would just be like, well, I don't know, I got to start getting $140 an hour to then start taking a multimeter and then, you know, going from the battery forward or from the switch down. So I honestly had like 8% faith that that switch was going to work. Not going to lie, I didn't think it was going to work. I was really just thinking about contacting them and be like, hey, I'll let the professionals do it. I'll just return the hand switch lever, or the hand switch, the starter switch. I'll just send it back unopened, just say, hey, screw it, let it be. So then I'm like, you know what, it's worth a shot. So I disconnected all of that, took off the cowling, put it all together, hooked it all up, turn it on, fuel pump kicks on, which it wasn't before. And I was so excited, guys. I hit run and it fired up instantly. I was so pumped. I was screaming to my wife. You know, she went on a bicycle ride. She pulls in and I was like, let's go, like, yeah, like, I was so freaking pumped and you know, relieved that was the issue and it worked. So then the old switch, you know, I got it buttoned up, went for a ride, you know. Bike's been sitting for about a month. not getting ridden. Like, I'll charge up the battery, I'll go for a ride, you know, I'll check air pressure, you know, all that good stuff. I'll get it sorted out. And so I took the old one apart even further, because I thought this was just like a clip-in, which it was, but it was further down than I thought. And so I switched it all out. I took apart the old one, and on the red switch, there's like two black round connectors that are like inside of this red button, and that kind of acts as a pivot. And the left side is what broke off. And because that left side broke off, there's the connections in the contacts. It left a gap. So it wasn't getting a connection to let the bike know, like, hey, we're good to start. Or, you know, the connection wasn't there, the continuity wasn't there to prime, you know, the fuel pump and all that stuff. So that little bit of plastic kind of shored everything up so those contacts would be in contact. So that's what the issue was. And it fell on the right side, right? But the thing that confuses me is it was the left side bit of plastic that broke off. And I did not drop the bike that hard. Like, it was a controlled drop. Like, I knew it was going to fall. And my brother was ahead of me, and I said, I'm letting the bike down. I'm dropping the bike, you know? And he was like, oh no. And he saw me do it. And like, yeah, this bike weighs like 500 pounds, but it wasn't like a dead drop. It was, I let it down. So I don't know if that was already broke and just kind of wedged in there, and then the impact of it hitting allowed that to fall through. But in short, the Tracer's back, and I feel pretty happy with myself, because that's something that one, would have been a lot more money just to diagnose. Two, I think I got lucky. And three, that assures me, like, I wasn't doing anything dumb. I was doing what I was supposed to do, like resetting the tilt sensors and stuff like that. And how likely is that to happen? Like, that, there wasn't a side of the road fix, right? Unless if I ripped that switch apart, I took it apart, and I looked at it, and then I figured it out, right? So long story short, I recorded some footage of the back of the Dragon. I had the tail of the Dragon, and the tail of the Dragon, we went, it was like, it's like Saturday it was, because the next day is when I dropped my bike. But Saturday, we kind of changed our route, and like, well, we'll hit the tail of the Dragon as we're going through to go to Knoxville, right? Like, well, two birds with one stone, essentially. And then on Monday or whatever, we can come hit the tail of the Dragon. The 3 times that I've rode the tail of the Dragon, okay, it's been a weekday, midday weekday. I now truly understand how busy that place gets on the weekend. It was insane. Hundreds of motorcycles, hundreds of bikes, which, yes, I get. It's a tourist thing, tourist trap, whatever. I get that. But it was so unenjoyable for me. I got stuck behind a pickup truck with a flatbed trailer hauling an old 90s or 80s station wagon going 10 miles an hour with speedy boys like on 1,000 Rs just ripping by everybody because they can, because one, they're that quick, but doing that, oncoming traffic being campers, vehicle, like you name it, every vehicle, right? So it was just stressful. It was hot, it was miserable. And so the plan was, all right, when we go back Monday or Tuesday, I'll take another video. It'll be less chaotic. We did the 421 Black Snake, which was an amazing road. That road was the best road that I've ever rode down there. So if you're ever down that way, it's the 421 Black Snake. I highly suggest that. Highly suggest it. So I was like, all right, we'll do that. Hit the back of the Dragon, do the Devil's Triangle, do the tail of the Dragon. Like, I'll come back, I'll record it, And that's when I dropped the bike. And then that's when my plans got shot to hell, pretty much. So I had to cut the trip short. Sunday, went back, got a box truck 40 minutes before they closed in a trailer before the U-Haul place closed. I pretty much decided then and now that, all right, I'm just going to drive it to Roanoke, Virginia. That's what my wife suggested because she's smart. I'm not. She's like, I can meet you there. That's only 4 or 5 hours away from me. Like, I'll meet you. I'll drive that instead of the, 9 to 11 hours from where we were at the time. And yeah, and that was disheartening. I was kind of bummed actually because we had some plans to stay at a friend's house and visit them some more and hang out and cook some food and do some more riding. And I don't know, the more I think about it is like maybe that happened for a reason, maybe me dropping the bike was a good thing. Maybe there was going to be something bad that happened down along the road, the only upsetting thing is like I would rather it have been this switch that needed replaced the whole unit, because if it would have been a fuse that I missed, like just looking at on the side of the road, and I spent, my wife and I spent the amount of money it was to rent a U-Haul. U-Hauls aren't cheap anymore. Like, they're not. It's like, it was a dumb amount of money to get the bike from Tennessee, the PA. It was a dumb amount of money. So I'm not too happy about the money that it took to get it done and the trip it cut short. But at the end of the day, I'm alive, my brother's alive. Like, I can't help think like stuff happens for a reason like that. And yeah, so that's pretty much the update. I wanted to have more footage for my trip. I was excited to record that stuff for you guys, and our trip got cut like 3 or 4 days shorter than what should have been because I dropped the bike and that messed something up, and that was just the way it was. And I apologize for that. This is like I am gonna post the back of the Dragon. I was gonna do the tail of the Dragon, but I'll be honest, it's not, I don't know. In my mind, it's not worth posting. Couldn't go the speed I wanted. There's really no flow. Got stuck behind a truck for half of it. It really just wasn't the best. So this is the update on the trip. I had a great time. We at least were able to hit all the stuff we wanted to do. It just really sucked, like, being in that situation of it happening, kind of bummed me out. But I figured y'all should know, like, that's what happened. And if you ever go on a trip, like your trip in general, like, I'm just going to run to a store 5 miles away, bring all your crap. Bring your jump pack, because with that jump pack, like, if we would have had it from the start, we wouldn't have wasted 80 minutes of running to the hotel to grab it and then the 40 minutes back to be like, oh, maybe it's a dead battery. Like, if I would have had that battery pack on me, that would have saved 70 minutes. And then the U-Haul place wouldn't have closed, pretty much. It was going to close 30 minutes after I got there, because the sequence of events of running to get the battery pack and then coming back with the battery pack and then starting it, and then I had to go be the person, so then I had to jump on my brother's bike to drive the 40 minutes to get to the U-Haul place, and then I had to leave the bike there, and then I had to get the U-Haul and get the trailer, and then I had to drive back to a BFE road in Tennessee, all gravel, to pick up my bike and load up my bike, and then I had to drive him and myself back to the U-Haul place to pick up his bike, and then he drove his bike back to the hotel, and I had to find parking in Knoxville for a freaking U-Haul and a trailer. It just sucked. And at that point, I just embraced it. My brother was a good sport about it, and kind of sucked, to be honest, but it was what it was. I'm not liking the look of these clouds over here. They did say it was going to rain around 3, and it's about 10 minutes away. But yeah, that's the update. It's a big, long-winded video, and I don't know how much is going to make it, but in short, I was going to record more stuff in Tennessee on a gravel road, which we switched the route before, changed the road. Dropped the bike on its right side. No big deal, whatever, it sucks, boo-hoo. Restart it, let's go. Not a big deal. Turned out to be it wouldn't restart. And that led to be a cluster. And then from then on, it was just, I'm over this trip. I'm annoyed. Dropping more money than what I wanted to. Thankfully, my wife's great. She's understanding and all that. And the game plan is let's just get back home as soon as we can and kind of lick our wounds and kind of make a game plan. So, yeah, that's that. I don't know what to tell you other than that. So, I'll probably post like this video before the back of the dragon video. I feel like you guys deserve an explanation, but also in a way it kind of, is a good story, like bring all the crap that you need and have a backup plan and go from there. So, this is Motobaggins, long-winded story. I know I was all over the place, and I know probably none of it makes sense, but, I appreciate you guys sticking around, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Like I said, I try to do 1 video a month. That's my minimum goal that I have for myself. I do plan on making a video, I don't know, maybe a video, probably more of like a short of changing the chain. This bike has like 15,000 miles on it now. I put about 2,100, 2,500 miles on this bike. The bike did amazing. Having that horsepower was amazing. Having that bigger fuel tank was amazing. Everything was great. I got this touring windshield. I think I got this for like $112. This windshield's like 200. So I got it on eBay for a steal. I'm really happy with it. I'm literally hot right now because I'm getting no wind on my chest. But I'm going to make my way back home here before the rain starts, if it's going to start. Or if it does start, at least I'll be wet, and then I'll be like closer to home. But yeah, that's the update, guys. Pretty much Tennessee trip went great for the most part. Had a setback. Didn't record as much as I wanted. But we're all good. Trace is back and running. Got it sorted out. I'm thankful I was able to. So, peace on the next one. You guys ride safe. Be safe. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment to Motobaggins here. All right. Peace out, guys.